My father's big birthday. I rushed back from the frontier outposts with my husband kids to wish him well. But I met with Lord of Everpeace Liam in Silk Splendor Emporium. He looked at me and sighed. Frontier outposts is bitterly cold. You go for 3 years just to gamble. Why do you suffer? When I married my cousin is purely helpless. If not, she will be sold by her stepmother to someone else as a concubine. As I said, you are the only one in my heart. If you are willing, I will come to your door tomorrow to propose marriage. And the marriage contract between the two families will remain the same. I reached out to set him aside. Trouble Lord of Everpeace to make way. You're in the way of me picking out a garment for husband. The clothing material in my hand is not the color that husband likes. Looking at the front there is a treasure blue. I let someone bring it over. But Liam pressed his hand. I like this color very much. Ah Zhao. I haven't seen you for 3 years. You still have me in your heart. It was all my fault that I wronged you in the past. I will go home and talk to my mother. Marry you in the right of Cowlife and enter the door. Even though it is Cowlife. But when you enter the door, I will let my cousin take you as her honor. She is delicate in nature. She will definitely honor you as her sister, and won't get into an argument with you. And you sisters will live in harmony like before. Okay. I watched him talking to himself non-stop, and helplessly interrupted him. Marquis, I'm not choosing fabrics for you. I'm choosing them for my husband. His face was gentle, like looking at a child who was fooling around. Okay. I know you're angry. Tomorrow I will personally bring a gift up to the mansion to apologize. Okay. He lowered his head and came closer to my side. As close as before. Husband. A soft voice sounded behind him. I raised my eyes to see. Is his cousin. Now is the Lord of Everpeace Lady Lillian. She wore a moon brocade white dress. Head jewelry gorgeous. No longer like when just entered the capital when the poor and small family. When she saw me, her face turned white, but she quickly changed her look and came up with a delicate smile, leaning on Liam's side and grasping him tightly. Husband. Why didn't you tell me that your sister had come back? Sister. Frontier outposts hardship. I see that my sister's clothes and dresses are still the style of the old years. Why don't you choose a few pieces? Just as a gift for me to send my sister back to the capital. I smiled slightly. Is that so? Thanks, Lady of Everpeace. Then I won't be polite. Just take it as you returning the favor of gifting me the clothes back then. Back then. She had just returned to the capital and didn't know anything. She went out to attend banquets and was ridiculed by the noblewomen. I saw her as pitiful. And for Liam's sake, I bought a few sets of clothes and dresses at Silk Splendor Emporium and gave them to her. And now that she said so, I naturally had to smile. I looked at the shopkeeper. Bring out all of your Silk Splendor Emporium's new flower weaving brocade. I've long heard that this kind of full embroidery pattern is popular in the capital nowadays. And Lady of Everpeace wants to give me a few sets of it today. So I won't be polite with her. Lillian's face turned ugly. A fully embroidered dress costs hundreds of gold. She didn't have a dowry when she married into the Marquis. And she is not good at taking care of the family business. Nowadays Lord of Everpeace's house is just an empty shelf. But since she has already opened her mouth, she can't take it back. Watching me pick out a few sets, her heart is dripping with flesh pain. I smiled and said, Thank you, Lady of Everpeace. Lillian's face are to bite and deformed, watching her forced to endure, blushing, and suddenly smiled. Sister is not married now, is to wear good-looking some, so as to look for some more suitable family in the capital. I heard that a distant cousin of the Marquis just died some time ago, and is looking for a successor. I think elder sister is quite suitable. Liam's face darkened. What are you babbling about? Lillian bites her lip and looks at him with tears in her eyes. I am also thinking about my sister. Why is husband so angry? Is he still thinking about her? Is it that you regret marrying me? I watched as Liam's face eased and coaxed softly. Don't you cry. I looked at this scene mockingly, as exactly the same as back then. As long as Lillian cried, Liam's heart would soften. 3 years ago, I was about to get married with Lord of Everpeace Liam, and Lillian entered the capital. She was dressed in plain clothes, pathetic, pounced on Liam's arms and cried her heart out. Cousin, my stepmother is going to marry me to a traveling merchant as a concubine, and received a bride price of 500 gold from someone else. What should I do? I have sworn that I will only be a wife and not a concubine. If I have to be a concubine, I would rather die. Cousin, save me. What should I do now? My stepmother said that she would want me to marry in 3 days. Liam wiped her tears with a look of heartache. Don't cry. I won't let you give you a concubine. But how to help her? Lillian bit her lip and looked at him. Cousin, can you marry me? I know that you and Miss Shin are going to get married. I won't compete with her. I just want a title. Just give me a place to settle down in the Marquis house. Okay. Cousin, please. If it doesn't work, Rian only has to die. To marry Lillian is not something that can be done just by saying it. Not to mention that his wedding date with me is coming up soon. Liam can only be silent. Lillian looked at him not saying anything, and smiled sadly. I know. Rian won't make it difficult for cousin. After saying that, she leapt towards the nearby lake. After the chickens flew, Liam hugged Lillian, who was rescued and was heartbroken. Rian, why are you so stupid? I'll marry you. I'll talk to Ah Zhao. I'll marry you first. I can only condescend to Ah Zhao. Let her be the second wife. What? I looked at Liam in front of me. As if I didn't recognize him, Liam said with difficulty. Rian's stepmother wants to marry her off to a rich merchant as a concubine. That rich merchant is already over 50 years old. Rian is really aggrieved to be with him. So I'm marrying her to give her a name, so that her stepmother won't dare to make things difficult for her. You don't worry. She will never compete with you for favor when she enters the house. She only needs a name and a place to live. Although you aggravate some a secondary wife. But, in my heart, you are my wife. I will only marry you. And you have a child heir. At that time, the Marquis house will also be presided over by you. In addition to the name, everything you have in the Marquis house is the same treatment as Mrs. Lord of Everpeace. I looked at Liam in a daze. The difference between a primary wife and a secondary wife. He wouldn't be unaware of it. We were engaged since childhood. Childhood sweethearts. I am the noble-born daughter of the general's house. He is the first son of the Marquis. Well matched in social standing. The two young and unsuspecting. I thought that we had the same mind. Naturally. We'll grow old together. I thought we shared the same feelings and would naturally grow old together. I choked my voice and said, Liam, you let me be a concubine. Liam, you want me to be a concubine. I am the noble-born daughter of the general's house. Where will you let my father's face go? Making me a concubine? Absolutely impossible. A Shin family daughter will never be a concubine with anyone. Lillian was at the side with tears in her eyes, tugging at Liam's sleeve. Cousin, don't make things difficult for Miss Shin. I can't compare to Miss Shin, who comes from a high family. General noble-born daughter. How do I deserve to be your proper wife? I know this extravagant hope. Thinking that Miss Shin will take pity on me and save me from the fire pit. However, it's not her fault. It's only my bitter fate. Miss Shin, don't be angry with cousin. It's all my fault. Rian wishes you grow old together. A blessed family, she said, rushing forward, snatching the scissors in my embroidery frame and stabbing them into her chest. Blood gushed out. Liam stepped forward and grabbed the scissors, and swept Lillian into his arms. Rian, what are you doing? I said I'd marry you and I'll definitely do it. Then he turned his head to look at me. Ah Zhao. I didn't expect you to really be so cold-blooded as to see death in front of human lives. Is your face so important? But the name of a proper wife. I said it was only a stopgap measure. I won't really marry Rian. am just giving her a place of refuge. And yet you have no sympathy. Do you want to force Rian to death before you are happy? No matter what you say. I only tell you, I will marry Rian as my wife. Think about it yourself. After you think about it, I will send someone to discuss with the general's house about marrying you as a secondary wife, the bride price and everything. Run according to the specifications of the main house. What are you still dissatisfied with? His anger came from the sky. Lillian cried and raised her eyes to look at me, with undisguised smugness in her eyes. I looked at the man in front of me, who looked like a stranger, and finally died. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, slowly let go of the grip of white fingers, looked at him. Good. Then wish you and Miss Lu 100 years of good luck. A blessed family. Liam looked at me with relief. I knew that. Ah Zhao has always been understanding. When it comes to marrying you. Well, certainly when the time comes to marry you, you will definitely be married in a grand manner, with the same specifications as the main family. I won't condemn you. Lillian tugged on his sleeve, signaling him. Liam looked at me with difficulty. There is one more thing. You are the secondary wife. The previously embroidered wedding gown can't be used. Rian came to the capital in a hurry, and there is nothing. How about you let Rian have the wedding gown? Okay. Lillian brought out a smile on her face, and her eyes were even more smug. Sister. They'll take a pink wedding gown and send it to you. How about exchanging it with you? Anyway, you can't wear a big red wedding gown. I'm not trying to snatch your position. It's just that courtesy is like this. There's nothing we can do about it. She not only snatched the position of Mrs. Lord of Everpeace, but also wanted my wedding gown. I looked at her. The wedding gown should be embroidered by yourself to be auspicious. Wearing someone else's is said to be a blessing. Why don't you go to a ready-made clothes store to buy one? Ready-made clothes store to buy wedding gown. She can become the joke of the capital tomorrow. How could she not know? She tilted her head and looked at Liam miserably. Cousin, I don't want to be a joke. Liam looked at me, a little impatient. Ah Zhao, you can't wear big red. Keeping wedding gown is also useless. Or else, I spend money to buy down can be good. My maid, Painting Air, was so angry that she finally couldn't hold back. This wedding gown was embroidered by Miss One Stitch at a time. You guys are also bullying people too much. I stopped Painter and raised my eyes to look at Liam. Buy my wedding gown? Yes. 5,000 taels. Lillian exclaimed. So expensive. MS. Shinura Lion's Den. Too much. I looked at them mockingly. This wedding gown is embroidered for the purpose of marrying into Lord of Everpeace's mansion. Embroidered for a year. Spend endless thoughts. With many good wishes. The Marquis thinks that this intention is not worth 5,000 taels. Liam looked at me, somewhat moved, wanted to say something, but in the end said nothing, only nodded. Took out 5,000 taels of silver tickets. I took out the wedding gown and only threw it at Lillian. Miss Lu, I hope my wedding gown, you wear it to fit. Lillian proudly took it over. Don't worry. If it doesn't fit, I'll change it. Liam turned back to me as he left with Lillian. Ah Zhao, get ready. Wait for me to marry you in 3 days. After they left, Painter's eyes were red. Miss, do you really want to marry the Marquis as a concubine? I laughed coldly. I am the daughter of the General of Western Frontiers. How can I be a concubine? Pack up your things. 3 days later. Well, go find Daddy. Father has been in frontier outposts. The war is tight. Even my wedding he wrote that he couldn't make it back. The letter was full of guilt. It does not matter. Soon, I will be able to see my dad, Liam, from my things a lot. Compartment everywhere. The wall of the ancient paintings. The table of the ancient books. The wall of the kite. The courtyard of the strange flowers. So much heart. Let me think he heart is their eye. Unexpectedly. These are false. I took them all down and sealed a few boxes, loaded them neatly onto the cart, and then instructed the butler. 3 days later, you will send these to Lord of Everpeace's mansion. 3 days later, early in the morning, Painter and I boarded the carriage and began to drive towards the outskirts of the city. As the carriage turned towards the capital's busiest avenue, I heard the sound of joyful music, the drumming of Lord of Everpeace Mansion's wedding ceremony. Until the sound of joyful music was slowly left behind my ears, I could no longer hear it. Lord of Everpeace got married. There were a lot of people coming to the door to congratulate him, and naturally, the commotion caused at this time was even greater. The crowd was talking. Isn't she marrying MS? Shin's family. How come it's changed? Who is the person Lord of Everpeace married? I don't know. It seems to be his cousin. What about MS? Shin. Is she withdrawing from the marriage? The chatter grew louder and louder, and the bridesmaid hurriedly came to urge people on. Master Marquis, the auspicious time is almost here. It was at this time that the butler drove a carriage to Lord of Everpeace's mansion. Marquis, our young lady asked someone to send something. Please accept it. The bride price and the box with old things were all carried into the mansion. Dozens of boxes were arranged all over the yard. Liam felt something strange in his heart. He opened the box and saw the things inside that he had once sent me. From childhood to adulthood. Neatly, the same knot pulling in it. And the jade pendant of the engagement, placed on the top of all the boxes. Shocking to the eyes, Liam raised his head violently and asked the housekeeper, "Where is Ah Zhao?" The butler tilted his face. "My lady has already left." The jade pendant in Liam's hand falls to the ground. Bam, it shatters. Gone. Why did she leave? I said I would marry her. The housekeeper looked at him and said in a bad mood, "Marquis." Miss said, "Wishing you and Miss Lu 100 years of good luck. A blessed family." She also left a sentence. Heard that the king has two intentions. So he came to the absolute decision. The marriage contract is cancelled. The Marquis does not have to worry about it in the future. Liam's face turned pale as he muttered, "How could this be? I clearly said I would marry her. Why would Ah Zhao leave? She has been looking forward to marrying me. How could she leave just because I married Rian first? I don't believe it." After he finished speaking, he was about to run in the direction of the city, but was stopped by the people of the Marquis residence. "Marquis, today is the big day of your marriage. You can't leave everyone behind and run away. Don't do anything stupid." Liam can't walk away. Can only woodenly by the bridesmaid and the master of ceremonies dragged in the wedding hall to pay respect to the marriage. On the second day of marriage, he went to the general's residence. But unfortunately has long been empty. The entire general's residence only left the housekeeper and a few old servants. I have long left the capital, ran to the frontier outposts. 3 years in a hurry. A year ago my father from the frontier outposts back to the capital. The emperor compassionate special decree, so that my father in the capital to recuperate from injuries, catching up on the feelings of the king and his subjects. I have not been back for a long time. This time just in time for my father's birthday. I brought Pear back. And father reunion. I raised my eyes to look at Liam who was comforting Lillian, and pointed at the cloths and instructed the shopkeeper. "Give me 2 of these, and the wolf one to wrap up for me as well, Ah Zhao." Liam reached over and tried to pull me, and I stepped back sharply to avoid it. Suddenly, a handsome voice rang out behind us. "Lord of Everpeace, what do you wish to say to my lady?" I turned around in surprise at the sound of the voice. "Husband, you're off the court. Quickly take a look at what I picked out for you. Do you like it?" My husband Xia Xianing walks in. "Why did you take so long to buy it?" Pear is awake and looking for my mother. Liam looked at Xia Xianing and mumbled, "Lord of Valiant Peace." Husband looked at him, "Lord of Everpeace. So he and my wife are old acquaintances." Liam looked at me in shock. "Ah Zhao, you really got married." At this moment, sister carried Pear in. Pear was just learning to speak, and when she saw me, she softly called out mother. When she saw me, she softly called out, mother, then she immediately jumped into my arms. I held Pear and looked at Liam. This is my husband Xia Xianying, and this is my son. Husband. Well, take our leave first. Xia Xianying took Pear from my arms and wrapped one arm around me. Hurry back to the mansion. Father is waiting anxiously at home. Saying that, he slowly walked away. And in the store, Liam's face changed dramatically, falling onto the stool. How is it possible? How can a Zhao marry someone else? She said that she will only marry me in this life. Will only marry me. How can she marry someone else? Lillian held him up. Husband. How could she be such an infatuated person? Look at her. She even gave birth to a child. It is possible that long ago have the first and last with someone. Otherwise how could you then said you want to marry her? She ran away without a shadow of a person. It will not be eloped it. Words fell. Liam snapped a slap in her face. Ah Zhao is not this kind of person. You give me shut up. If it wasn't for your pestering and crying at the time, how could I have lost Ah Zhao and how could she have left me? You said you only wanted a name. But what happened? The more you wanted. The more you wanted. You lied to me from start to finish. You poisonous woman. You ruined me and Ah Zhao. Lillian tugged at his sleeve. I didn't. Husband. I never wanted to compete with her for you. It's her who didn't want to give in. She didn't want to marry you. Ah. Liam pushed her away. If you hadn't died trying to get in the door in the first place, how would I have come up with the idea of making Ah Zhao a concubine? He pushed her away with one hand, not caring that she fell to the ground, and walked away without looking back. Back to the general's residence. Father holding Pear was very happy. Every day only focus on holding Pear around. Pear like what will be a wave of the hand to buy. The Pear amused happy. Every day only call, Grandpa, Grandpa. Father rare Pear. Rare like what? To us couples do not care. I met Lord of Valiant Peace in frontier outposts. He was ordered to escort grain and grass to frontier outposts. Encountered the enemy invasion. And my father and his soldiers went to the battlefield to kill. In the enemy's hidden arrows to hurt people. He blocked an arrow for my father. Because of the poison on the arrow, causing him to recuperate in frontier outposts for a whole half a year. His father felt that he was extraordinary martial arts and family history. He was very appreciated. And when he was talking about wine, on the spur of the moment, he actually patted him on the shoulder and asked, Marquis is so young and talented. Can he ever marry a wife? Xia Xianying shook his head. Not yet. Father laughed. I have a daughter. To be married in the boudoir. Why don't I betroth her to you? Waiting for the next day, the two people woke up drunk, and found that they had long been engaged, exchanging tokens. I had to take the token to find Lord of Valiant Peace to retreat. I did not expect him to look at me red face. I do not know Miss Shin is willing to marry. Xia will not be responsible for you. I would like to marry you as a wife. Grow old together. I froze and looked at him, and he looked at me stupidly, and suddenly they all red face. Thinking of the situation, I smiled. Time passes. A moment of our marriage has been more than 2 years. We rested at home for a few days, and friends and family feast party, only to know Lord of Everpeace House. 3 years ago, he married Lillian, but has not been able to give birth to a child and a half. Causing the old lady is very dissatisfied. A long time, only to realize that the original Liam has never been with Lillian round room. Liam said, at first said it was expedient, to give you a place to live. Why should round room? Lillian kneels in front of him. Husband, now I am a lord of Everpeace House. If I don't give birth to a child, how can you let me live in the backyard? The spittle outside can drown me. Husband, you have to know how harsh the world is on women. Please, just please give me a child. Okay. Just give birth to a child and I will never pester you again. She cried, tearful fragility. Pathetic. Liam finally softened his heart and rounded with her. Soft jade. Beauty in the arms. Soon, Liam forgot what expediency, and Lillian intimate entanglement into a real couple. And Lillian, in order to get a child, from the hand of the Taoist grandmother, bought some secret medicine to eat. Actually soon really let her pregnant with Liam's flesh and blood. Because of the pregnancy, she was able to stand firm in the Lord of Everpeace house. However, I don't know whether it's because of the secret medicine or what, the child was born a son, but a little demented. Liam was like a thunderbolt. Suddenly felt that this is the punishment of heaven. No longer dared to touch Lillian. No matter how much Lillian cried and begged, he was not willing to go to take a look at more. Now that I'm back in Beijing, he saw me and my pair, and was suddenly touched. 3 days later, it was my father's birthday. The general's mansion held a big banquet. I and Xia Xianying in the mansion to preside over the situation, to greet the guests. Unexpectedly, Liam brought Lillian uninvited. Liam, a horse, turned back to the carriage to pick up Lillian. A lift curtain found Lillian actually held Sun Rui'er out. He yelled, "What are you bringing him out for?" Lillian, however, was adamant. He is Lord of Everpeace's first son, my child with you, and is already almost 2 years old. So why can't he come out to meet people? Can it be that you are still thinking of renewing your relationship with that Xin Zhao? That's why you don't let your son show his face. Lillian's voice is getting sharper and sharper. The carriage stops for too long, causing the people behind to start yelling. The ones in front of you, get off or not. If you don't get off, don't block our carriage. Liam had no choice but to let Lillian carry the child and get off the carriage. At this kind of banquet, few guests would hold the child. Lillian introduced everyone's attention as soon as she came in. Agu, is this Lord of Everpeace's brother? Why haven't you been holding it out? We've never seen it before. Yes. We didn't even have a full moon reception. He's already 2 years old. The ladies like this kind of short story, began to tease the child in Lillian's arms. Lillian said proudly, "Yes. This is Rui'er, the first son of the Marquis family." The Marquis said that when he grows up a little more, he will ask for the title of the son. He usually hurts like the apple of his eye. He doesn't even want to bring it out. And in the garden, I am holding Pear to go to the front hall. Met Liam. He looked at me. His eyes are lost. Ah, Zhao. Pear smiled in my arms and looked at him. You shui cute. He reached out to hold Pear's small hand. Suddenly said, if the marriage went smoothly at that time, our child should not be this big. I hurriedly took a step back. Marquis is joking. I heard that Lady of Everpeace also brought a child over. Very cute. As if he came to his senses, he pulled out a piece of ancient jade from his bosom and put it on Pear's body. A meet and greet gift for Pear the first time I met him. I took a look. It was actually a piece of ancient jade from Lord of Everpeace's old marquee, which could be called the heirloom of Lord of Everpeace's mansion. Marquis, this is too expensive. He smiled faintly. No harm. Just take it as my reparation. Ah, Zhao. There are some things. Are they never going back? I hugged Pear tightly. Marquis now has a beautiful family, a beautiful wife and young son. Why should you stick to the past? After saying this, I held Pear and walked away quickly. Just as I walked to the flower hall, I heard Lillian asking, I just had the chance to bring Rui'er out today. I heard that Wuan Lady of Everpeace's child is about the same age. Why don't I see him? I smiled and carried Pear over. Pear is lively and active. Once put down, we'll hold the stool and start to walk around. See, the ladies also do not recognize. Auntie, Granny, all kinds of call. Teasing the ladies happy. And Lillian put his son down. Here, Rui'er. Go and call someone. And as soon as Rui'er was placed on the floor, he grabbed the sugar on the plate in his hand. and as soon as he stood on the floor he got down and climbed up, grabbing the sugar in his hand, and dropping it on the floor dirty, and only stuffing it into his mouth. "Sister, a pick up the sugar pad off," Ru'er cried. "Sugar, want sugar." The whole thing was crying with snot and tears flying out of her nose, kicking and punching. Completely out of control. The ladies could see that something was wrong and began to whisper, "Isn't the young master of Lord of Everpeace's family a little silly and dull? Even the ones that fall on the floor are picked up and eaten. So dirty." Ru'er cried. Suddenly a bashful odor came out. Actually peed on the body. This time, Lillian's face completely red. Lord of Everpeace is even more colorful. "Only send the gift." To Lillian, low roar. "Do not hurry to me to roll back." Then with the lady child hurriedly left the general's house. Once back home, Liam slapped Lillian in the face. "I said not to take Ru'er out. He's this demented. If others know, where do you want my face to rest? If the emperor knew that my first son was a fool, what would he think? If I had known that you were so untouchable, I should have listened to my mother and taken a second wife earlier." Lillian hugged Ru'er and cried her heart out. "Ru'er is your first son. How can you talk about him like this? He is going to inherit the Lord of Everpeace house in the future." Liam glanced at Ru'er with disgust in his eyes and instructed the housekeeper. "In the future. No one is allowed to take Ru'er out of the house without my orders. No one is allowed to go out and embarrass me again." Within a day, the rumor that Lord of Everpeace's first son was a fool spread throughout the capital. Lord of Everpeace didn't even go out for a few days, and the people of the Marquis house who went out to shop were caught and asked, "Is your young master really a fool?" Even the underlings felt humiliated and disgraced. And when they came back, they took their anger out on Ru'er. And once Lillian didn't pay attention, the meals sent to Ru'er's yard were the worst kind. Even the maids' meals were not as good as the maids. But soon, it was rumored that Lord of Everpeace is going to marry Cowlife. Married to the noble-born daughter of Magistrate of Justice's family, Xiao Mingyue. Xiao family's condition is that after the marriage, although it is Cowlife, but to Xiao Mingyue as the honor, preside over the middle feeder. She gave birth to the child must be the first eldest son. In other words, Ru'er was defaulted to lose the power and status to inherit the Marquis house. Liam agreed. And the marriage with the Xiao family was quickly organized. Lillian is still unaware of this. Liam had arranged for her to take Ru'er to the temple to eat fasting. "I happened to go to burn incense. Saw her." Lillian face proud. "Miss Shin." "Oh, no, Mrs. Xia. Why did not see Lord of Valiant Peace accompanied you to come? Is it behind people's backs? Even love doesn't have to be pretended." The tone was full of gloating. I looked at her with a smile but not a laugh. "If you yourself are not in love with Lord of Everpeace, do you think all couples in the world are not in love?" Lillian whitened her face and screamed shrilly. "Nonsense. My cousin has never been single-minded towards me. And in these years, he has not even taken a concubine. He has always honored me." I covered my mouth and laughed. "Is that so? Then the Marquis wants to marry Cowlife, and is also single-minded towards you. It's really hard to tell. You guys are really like glue." Lillian shook her head. "What marrying Cowlife? What are you talking about? Marquis only has me as his wife. How could he possibly marry Cowlife?" I exclaimed. "The Marquis is getting married today to the noble-born daughter of the Magistrate of Justice's family." Oh, you've been fasting in the mountains for half a month, right? No wonder you don't know. Today the high families in the capital can all go to your Marquis house to drink the wedding wine. Know why you have to go behind your back? Because the Xiao family said." Miss Xiao entered the door to be the main mother of the house, although it is Cowlife. But to be honored by her, you should call her sister. You're an orphan girl with no power and no influence, thinking that you can step on everyone by playing tricks. Do you think I really can't fight you? It's just a man who is towards Qin Muchu. It's not enough to make me Qin Zhao. go through this kind of trouble. Early heard that the Xiao family rule very strict. Miss Xiao into the door must be unwilling to sit on an equal footing with you, Lady of Ever Peace. In the future, I'm afraid that you will have to be the morning and evening service it. I finished, mockingly looking at her, watching her face change dramatically. Watching her scream and go crazy. Go back down the mountain to Lord of Everpeace house at once. The mountain road is rugged, and by the time Lillian rushes back to Lord of Everpeace mansion, it's already night time, and Liam and Xiao Mingyue have worshipped long ago, and are softly and tenderly entwined in their new room, lingering on the side of the Scarlet. Unfortunately, all of this was broken by Lillian's return to the mansion. She directly rushed into the courtyard of the new room holding Ru'er in her arms, and was stopped by Xiao Mingyue's accompanying subordinates. She had to yell in the courtyard, "Marquis, why? Why did you hide the fact that you took a wife from me? I'm obviously your hairy wife. How could you be sorry for me?" Her cries disturbed the entire Marquis house. Liam rushed out of the new room with an iron face. "Lillian, because of you I lost Ai Zhao. Now you want to ruin my marriage. Someone come, gag her and escort her to the courtyard. Lock the gate and don't allow her to come out. Whenever she cultivates herself and gets her temperament right, when will she come out again? No matter what reason you hear from her. Don't open the courtyard gate for her." "Yes, Marquis." The subordinates obeyed the order and directly gagged and set Lillian away. Xiao Mingyue leaned on Liam's side and said softly, "Marquis, the inner house is not peaceful. It will surely hinder Marquis' future. It is better to leave this inner house matter to concubine to take care of in the future." Liam lightly hugged her. "Tough on you." Xiao Mingyue smiled daintily. "If Marquis knows that my concubine is hardworking." "My concubine is not hardworking. Lord of Everpeace house's subordinates know that the sky of the Marquis has changed since the new wife married into the house. Everything is decided by the new wife, and Lillian has been confined to the Lotus house. The door is locked tightly, except for a window that can be used to deliver food. Other than that, no one is allowed to open it. This day, the person who delivers the food heard inside and cried and screamed, "Someone quickly open the door. Ru'er high fever. Quickly ask the doctor." The subordinate did not dare to be slow. Went to report to the Marquis and Xiao Mingyue. Liam was about to call someone to go to the doctor. Xiao Mingyue said. The Marquis said. "No matter what tricks Lillian wants to scream inside. Do not pay attention. Do not open the door." Then looked at Liam. "Marquis. Such trickery. Concubine has seen a lot. No need to pay attention." Liam thought about it and thought it made sense. Lillian often did such things, and had just made a scene the day before, so he no longer paid attention to her. The subordinate answered and retired, no longer caring about Lillian's screams. However, in the middle of the night, only heard a heartbreaking cry, "My Ru'er." The cry was extremely loud, and then let out a loud cry. The whole Marquis house was awakened. Liam dressed and got up. "I'll go and take a look." Xiao Mingyue had to follow and get up to go together. Liam frowned. "Why are you crying in the middle of the night?" Lillian looked at him. "I don't know why you are crying." Lillian looked at him. "Ru'er is dead. My Ru'er is dead. It's all you. It's all you who killed him." Liam took a few steps back. "How and why is he dead?" Lillian hated. "Ru'er had a fever. I cried and screamed and went to the doctor but no one cared. Ru'er died of the disease. Are you satisfied now? You never liked Ru'er, did you? Now you are satisfied. You're happy that my Riel is dead." "Liam, you killed Riel. You killed your own son." Lillian screamed with a scowl on her face, causing both Liam and Xiao Mingyue to take a step back. Ru'er died. Lillian seemed like she lost her essence all of a sudden and aged a lot. She closed her door and only prayed to Buddha in the courtyard. The Marquis house was silent for a while, and soon became lively again. Because Xiao Mingyue was pregnant, Liam was very happy. and every day she looked forward to the child's early birth. Everyone is looking forward to the birth of this child. But in Xiao Mingyue 6 months, in a night suddenly abdominal pain, under the body of the red, the Marquis immediately asked the doctor. The doctor said that he had eaten something that had dropped the fetus, and the fetus was afraid that it could not be preserved, and would have to be miscarried immediately. The 6-month-old fetus, born cannot survive, can only be beaten down alive. Xiao Mingyue cried and cried all night, gave birth to a stillborn baby, a boy. Xiao Mingyue's body suffered great damage. The doctor said that it is likely that the future are difficult to give birth to. Xiao Mingyue heard this and cried her heart out. But only heard a burst of wild laughter outside. You also have today. Ha ha ha. My Ru'er is gone. Your children also rest to live. I want your children to accompany the funeral. Hearing people's hair numb. Liam called people to arrest people in. Actually is Lillian. She straight confessed. It is my drug. I in Xiao Mingyue's chicken soup under the safflower. That day. If not, she did not let open the courtyard door. My Ru'er will not be dead. I want to her a life for a life. Liam growled. Lillian. Are you crazy? Lillian laughed. I am mad. I have been mad since the day you resented me. Liam. You used to say that you liked me. Yet you were cold after marrying me and having Ru'er with me. Yet you blamed me for making Ru'er demented. I don't know how you agreed to marry me if you were devoted yourself. But it is you yourself who are not devoted. Yet you blame it on me. Now that you have me. Yet you still want to marry Cowlife. Liam. People who lie will get retribution. You are now retribution. Retribution. Xiao Mingyue but can't hear anything. Looking at the maniacal Lillian. She suddenly pulls off the gold pin on her head and stabs it towards her heart. I want you to pay for my son's life. Lillian died. With the golden hairpin stuck in her heart. Collapsed in a pool of blood. Before dying. She opened her eyes to Liam and said, Cousin. I'll wait for you. Liam was shocked. Just wanted to say something. But there was a sharp pain in his abdomen. He suddenly looked at the tonic soup beside him as if he remembered something. The soup is poisonous. Then he fell down. Lord of Everpeace House has a big problem. Overnight. The Marquis was poisoned by Lillian. And Lillian was killed for murdering Xiao Mingyue. Xiao Mingyue was killed for being murdered by Lillian and lost her son. And her body was weak. She was temporarily detained in the prison. To be tried again when her body recovers. Overnight. Lord of Everpeace House decline. The people inside were quickly dismissed. Sold. A few days later. The entire Marquis house is empty. Became an empty house. When I heard the news, I was eating sour plum paste. The abdomen has just been diagnosed with a 2-month pregnancy. Xia Xianying in my side of a variety of rambling. Pregnant women cannot listen to these. Well, let's listen to a story of words. I held payer, shaking the plucked drum, looking at Xia Xianying in the side carefully read the storybook. Happiness full of arms. Everything else has nothing to do with me again. End of full text.